Right now, the crypto market is shaking people out. Fear is high, prices are crashing, and this is when market participants make the worst mistakes, the kind that can set them back for years. I've seen this play out time and time and time again. Remember, I've been here for 13 years. People panic, they sell, they doubt the bull market, and they lose conviction, and they make the same critical errors. But the smartest investors, and we're gonna talk about that in this video, the smartest investors, the whales, the institutions, they see these opportunities and they seize them. And that's what makes them great investors. So in this video, I'm gonna break down why fear is at an all-time high and what that really means for Bitcoins and altcoins. The data is showing why we could be nearing a generational opportunity. The number one mistake that keeps most crypto investors from making generational wealth opportunities. How the wealthiest people in the world deal with market situations like this. And guys, if you're feeling shaken by the market, don't worry, you're not alone. But if you get this right, you could be setting yourself up for really big gains that can change your life. And with that, hopefully I can help calm some nerves and give you guys some market perspective from a guy who's been in the space for 13 years and seen every single 4-year cycle since crypto's inception. And I can help you guys learn from mistakes that myself and others have learned. So hopefully you don't have to. All right, guys, let's get into it. All right, guys, if we take a look at the Bitcoin chart over here, as we have seen over the past week or two, the Asian session has actually been holding up the chart. The US has been very concerned. We have typically been seeing selling around the US hours. We've been seeing the outflows from the Bitcoin ETFs. But as you guys can see right now, we have this green candle time of recording. US session is open. Why is the rally happening? Why? Because Senator Cynthia Lummis has reintroduced her Bitcoin Act bill, proposing 1 million Bitcoin purchase over 5 years with a 20-year minimum hold. Now, my guess is, I haven't got to read this yet, but my guess is that it's going to be rewritten to propose budget neutral strategies in order to acquire Bitcoin. So let's see what this goes. But again, reinstalling some hope that the US will take it seriously to acquire more Bitcoin for its strategic reserve. Guys, be bullish. You must be excited despite the price. Remove the price for a second. And like, we have to zoom out and just think about the macro environment that's happening. The United States just enacted a Bitcoin strategic reserve. Now, I know that we didn't get the news that we were hoping, that the US is going to just print a bunch of cash and buy a bunch of Bitcoin and blow it up. You know, we're going to go to $1 million tomorrow. I know that didn't happen, but just a few years ago, no one could even imagine that Bitcoin, magic internet money, Bitcoin, would actually be compared to gold, but better, the new 21st century modern digital gold. This is actually insane. And Senator Cynthia Lummis, again, throws in her bill for US to start acquiring 1 million Bitcoin over 5 years. And what do you think this is going to do? Remember, we have Republicans in the House, we have Republicans in the Senate, and Republican in the executive office. Likely, I believe this bill to go through. So we'll keep you posted on that as it comes. Now, I'm not saying to be bullish right now. All the macro factors still are in play, right? We've got trade wars, and Trump just announced, more, basically even higher tariffs on Canada, and says, hey, Canada, if you just become the 51st state, like all this goes away, right? But the fact is that people are still incredibly uncertain right now. And as you guys can see, just yesterday, $1.5 trillion erased from the US stock market, and it's gone. As the Kobolesi letter says over here, since February 20th, the S&P has erased a whopping $4.5 trillion in market cap. That's $350 billion in market cap per day over the last 13 days straight. The NASDAQ is now just 8% away from entering bear market for the first time since 2022. Oh my God. We also have other indicators over here saying from the global markets investor that we have this economic policy uncertainty index. Look at the dates. right? So over here, we had this at the 2020, this is the COVID crisis over here, right? The 2008 financial collapse and the 2001 recession. Currently, we have uncertainty at that same level right now. But what followed most of those was a great bull market. And of course, the irony right here, this is how everybody feels. You know, I've seen posts on crypto Twitter all the time, bring Biden back, blah, 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 like this.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much.
And you get the point. And the markets are wrecked. Let's listen to Howard Lutnick over here responding to the question about a potential recession. We had just shown you the uncertainty index that had led to recessions after them, but here's Howard Lutnick.
Should Americans brace for a recession?
Absolutely not. Anybody who bets against Donald Trump, it's like the same people who thought Donald Trump wasn't a winner a year ago. Donald Trump is a winner. He's going to win for the American people. That's just the way it's going to be. There's going to be no recession in America. What there's going to be is global tariffs are going to come down because President Trump has said, you want to charge us 100%? We're going to charge you 100%. And you know what they say? They say, no, don't charge us 100%. We'll bring ours down. We'll unleash America out to the world, grow our economy in a way we've never grown before.
I do think that a large amount of this tariff discussions are for negotiations. Clearly, and I have, look, I don't know. I could care less if Canada joined the United States or remained its own state or its own country. I mean, let me know in the comments below what you guys think would be best. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. But it's obviously being used as a negotiation tactic to try to get what Trump wants. Hey guys, as you guys can see over here, the fear is the same levels from the 2020 COVID crisis. And we know what happened after that, this massive, massive rally leading to the 2021 bull market with massive quantitative easing, liquidity injections, lower interest rates, et cetera, et cetera. This is, in my opinion, yet another typical bull market correction, right? And Rec Capital over here says, in 2017, the average Bitcoin correction was 35%. The average was 35%. In 2021, the average Bitcoin correction was 37%. In this cycle, the average Bitcoin correction is 25%. Where are we now? We are currently from the low of today at 76,500 or so. We're currently at 30% below all-time highs. So we are sitting, somewhere in what is expected, but we are likely to go lower. I just think of the interim, we are likely to go lower. So just hold and chill, careful with leverage. If you have dry powder, it's probably a good time to start accumulating, not financial advice. But when Bitcoin was sitting at $108,000 and someone said you could go get it for $80,000, wouldn't you have done it like crazy? And what history shows us, and there's never been in history a time to be more bullish on Bitcoin itself than right now, that the price, if you zoom out, in the long run, always goes up, and that is not going to change, in my opinion. Right? It's worked extremely well for me over the past 13 years, and I believe the name of the game is accumulating Bitcoin in whatever way you can do that. The writing is on the wall, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to get into more of that throughout the course of this video. And yes, we don't even have to look at the previous bull market cycles. This one alone, we can see that Bitcoin has retraced since the bull market. And yes, we have been in a bull market essentially since FTX collapse, which was November, December 2022. You can see that we've had all these pullbacks along the way so far, and it keeps going higher. Remember, even this one was a 33% pullback, which we haven't seen yet, and yet higher, right? A 21% pullback over here, and yet higher, 22%, and higher. This is par for the course, ladies and gentlemen. This is part of the cycle. We showed you in the video last week all the indicators that typically lead to the end of a bull market. We haven't seen one of them flash yet. So for my OGs who have been around for a while, this is kind of the sentiment that we're feeling. Stack harder. There you go, guys. All right, guys. As you can see too from my post here on X, if you're not following me on X, this is where you get all your latest alpha and breaking news at Kyle_Chasse. Whales will keep stacking 65,000 Bitcoin in the last month. You can see this is a chart from CryptoQuant showing holders, whales that have a balance between 1,000 and 10,000 have accumulated 65,000 Bitcoin in the last month. Pay attention to what smart money is doing. Most of the sell pressure is coming from weak hands, new participants, and people who aren't familiar with the market. This is why I make these videos for you guys, so you understand what's going on, what is really happening behind the scenes. This is why we have all this very important data to show what are smart people doing. They are buying the hell out of this dip. And Arthur Hayes, if you guys don't know who he is, very, very, very smart guy, ran the exchange called BitMEX. And he says the plan, be patient. Bitcoin likely bottoms around 70,000 for a 36% correction from 110,000 all-time high. This is very normal for a bull market. Then we need stonks, the SPX and NASDAQ to enter a free fall. Then TradFi Muppet to go under. Then we get the Fed, PBOC, ECB, and BOJ all easing to make their countries great again. Then you load up the truck. Traders will buy the dip. If you are more risk averse, wait for central banks to ease, then deploy more capital. You might not catch the bottom, but you also won't have to mentally suffer through long period of sideways and potential unrealized losses. So to break this down for you guys, what Arthur is saying here is that this is far from over. This is normal bull market behavior. The same thing, we've seen it time and time again, is going to happen, right? We've talked about it on this channel relentlessly over the past couple of weeks. Everything is going according to plan. The intention of the administration is to force the Fed's hand at easing, printing money, reducing rates, reducing the 10-year treasury yield, and inflation is going down. All indicators are looking toward the second half of this year, maybe sooner. As we talked about in the other video, maybe we see May rate cuts leading to bullish behavior. But what Arthur's saying here too, guys, is if you're more risk averse and you're obsessing with charts, which I know from the comments, a lot of you guys do. You guys, oh, Kyle, blah, 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 blah. Like remember, my time frame is longer outlook, right? And you have to ask yourself, are you an investor or a trader? And if you're a trader, okay, you can try to time these bottoms, right? Or start DCAing or whatever. But if you're an investor and you want to accumulate long-term wealth and value your wealth in Bitcoin like I do, then it's a good time to start DCAing in. And if you don't want all the headache and stress of the current volatility, wait until the Fed flips the switch and you hear Jerome Powell saying they're lowering rates and we see all the signs pointing to risk on. At that point, you might not have bought the Pico bottom. Fine, but at least you don't have to deal with the stress. So it's up to you guys what you want to do. For me, I'm fully allocated right now. I'm still holding the alts I talked about in previous videos. I'm still holding my Bitcoin. In fact, I'm a little bit levered up on Bitcoin myself, and I have full confidence in where we're going. To me, it's extremely clear. And as you can hear, this is Michael Saylor making an analogy to those people who had the same mentality of trading Apple stocks back in the day. Listen to this.
Can you imagine someone sitting around saying, oh, I get mobile device technology, and you're trying to time the market in Apple stock in 2011? Like you're buying and selling Apple stock in 2011. I'm like, you're like, you want to shake? I'm like, are you out of your mind? I'm trading Facebook stock back and forth between $8 a share and $4 a share and $12 a share. And you just want to do this. Like, do you not understand that one day every single person on the planet is going to have one of these things in their pocket and it's going to go up by a factor of 100? And you're trying to like trade Apple stock between $1.25 and $1.17 and bragging about how you bought it at $1.25 and sold it at $2.11.
Because this is the story of so many people, especially even in Bitcoin that I know personally, who got involved in the space in 2010 and 2012. And they say, oh man, I bought 5,000 Bitcoin for $2 and then it went to 250 and I sold it all and I thought I did a really good job. When the writing is on the wall and the biggest economy in the world establishes a Bitcoin strategic reserve, you don't sell your Bitcoin. You accumulate your Bitcoin, right? That is what you do. And we are still early. We're still very early, right? Imagine if Senator Cynthia Lummis's bill gets passed, the chain reaction that will have amongst other countries. And it doesn't even have to be the United States. I mean, once you understand the value proposition of Bitcoin, it just makes sense. And remember, I've had conversations with the people from the government, the royal family of Saudi Arabia. They're accumulating. We know Abu Dhabi is accumulating. Middle East is accumulating. Governments are accumulating. This is already happening. They're not waiting for the United States to do this. It's already happening. The reason the price is coming down right now is because we have economic uncertainty, a radical new administration shaking up the markets, and they're scaring people out of their Bitcoin. But guess who's buying it? It's whales, countries, governments, institutions, and it's not you, but I hope it's you. Again, what would you have done when Bitcoin was $110,000 if someone told you get it for $80,000? Now, this is a pretty interesting post. So Dividendology over here says, feel like a good time to remember this. If you invested in the S&P 500 every time CNBC had a markets in turmoil special, your average return after 1 year would be 40% with a 100% success rate. You have to do the counter trade. You have to do what the masses are not doing. It instinctually does not feel right. It instinctually feels very wrong to be buying Bitcoin when the price is going down, right? Everyone wants to buy it when it's pumping up, right? And this is why so many people bought the top Bitcoin of previous market cycles. They bought it in 2017 at $19,000, in 2021 at $69,000. They waited until the FOMO got the best of them. And when everybody was in extreme greed, that's when they bought the top. But what you should be doing is buying when the markets are fearful and everybody else is scared. This is how markets work. Every great investor in the world will tell you the same lessons, whether it's the Rothschilds, whether it's Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett, whatever, it's the same thing. And Mickey Bull over here spent the time to actually aggregate some old Twitter posts saying the same thing in 2016 and 17 and 2021, that Altseason was never going to come. You can see these are all posts from 2017, 16, 2021, that Altseason's not coming, Bitcoin only. Same thing over here, 2020, 2021. We know that 2021 was a great bull run. Everyone on here, you can pause the video and watch it here. Everyone's saying altcoin's not going to come. It's Bitcoin only. But guess what? It came. So this is just sentiment and how markets work, guys. Right now, according to this altcoin versus Bitcoin season chart, remember, it's a good time to start accumulating altcoins when you see it drop below this line down here. Historically, this has always been a really good time. Again, nothing is financial advice, just historically what has happened. And history is not guaranteed to repeat itself. But in markets, it's all about probability and looking at what has happened in the past and the likelihood it's going to happen again. If we take a look over here on CoinGecko right now and scroll down through the top 100, I mean, look at the prices of some of these things. You got Solana sitting here at $125, XRP at $2, right? You've got things like Chainlink sitting down here at $13. You've got, and we saw Sergey in the White House at the crypto summit. He spoke. He was there in the interview, right? Toward the end of the conversation, Sergey spoke up, thanked the president. He's there sitting there. Chainlink at $12.95. Now, when I made the video about my $1 million buy on Chainlink, it was at $7, so it's still up from there. But Still down quite a bit, just 30% down in the last 30 days. Everything is on a discount. We know Avalanche is going to do extremely well. You've got a lot of games being built over there, like Off the Grid from Godzilla, for example. Sui, for example, $2.18. This was at $5 not too long ago. We know that the Sui and World Liberty Fi, Trump's company, just made a deal for some sort of strategic reserve or stockpile within World Liberty, right? We know Trump is buying Sui, and it's sitting at $2. This is a sale, a fire sale, ladies and gentlemen. Fire sale. Hyperliquid, just the other day, was like $35. Now it's at $14.29. One of the most innovative, decentralized exchanges in the world where revenue and fees go back to the protocol. Like just brilliant technology. I mean, it's not, by all means, like, you know, it's still 13 billion FDV, 4.5 billion market cap, but it's still it's still 60% where it was just a couple months ago, right? And believe me, I had wished I had gotten Hyperliquid. This is looking like a very attractive buying position for me right now. Again, nothing financial advice, but Hyperliquid technology is amazing. I mean, even this insider whale we talked about is using it for their trades. In my opinion, not financial advice, seems like a really good time to start dollar cost averaging. And again, I do think things are probably likely to go lower. That's why I think that dollar cost averaging into things that you're interested in is a good strategy, right? Say that you bought, say that you wanted to spend $10,000 on something like Hyperliquid, and we're not really sure. So you're going to buy $1,000 a week every Saturday at 12 p.m. for the next 10 weeks. And this week it's $14, and next week it goes down to $12. Oh, damn, you bought some at 14, but at least you got some at 12 now. And then it goes down to 10, and you're like, oh man, I bought some, but at least you got some at 10. Okay, and then it goes down to like 8 because we're like really bad right now. And you're like, oh man, okay, I bought some at 8. And then it starts to recover, and then it goes back to 10 again, and you're like, okay, well, I got some at 10. And then on the 5th week, it's at $12 again, and then it goes to 16, and then it goes to 21, back to 35. And now your average buy-in price is probably somewhere around this $14 range or whatever, right? And so it's a good way to detach yourself emotionally from trying to buy the bottom or sell the top, DCAing into things that you really like. What else is on here that's sweet? Aptos. We know Aptos is doing big things with Franklin Templeton and whatnot. Aave, my favorite DeFi protocol sitting in here. Fire sales ever. Ondo working with BlackRock. On sale, if you like meme coins. Pepe over here sitting at a huge discount. I mean, everything. BitTensor was it like $700? What was it, like 7, 8 months ago? Sit at $253. A huge fire sale, right? And everything else, and so on and so forth, guys. So now might be a good time to think about the things that you wish that you had got in on, but they pumped too hard and too crazy, but quality things, right? We don't know, right? Sure, some memes will come back. Most will die, right? But which ones have crazy good communities? And I'm not talking about meme coins here. Let's talk about good quality coins, right? Because why would you go buy and spend a bunch of money on meme coins right now unless you know the team's, unless you have high conviction in them? But there's so many great real projects right now that are like 70, 80% below their all-time high and are basically at like bear market prices right now. And you know which ones they are. You know because we've been paying attention. You know which ones are going to pump. And Michael Saylor, of course, remains ultra bullish. He's forecasting. Just check this out.
Bitcoin is not competing with the dollar. It's competing with international real estate, global equities, expensive money managers on Wall Street, and any long-range investment that somebody makes. And so right now we're about $2 trillion in Bitcoin. It's going to 20 trillion, then it's going to 200 trillion, then it's growing 20% a year. And that capital is coming from overseas. It's coming from China, from Russia, from Europe, from Africa, from Asia, from the 20th century to the 21st century. So what's compelling about it is if the United States takes a position in the emerging crypto economy, if it buys up 10, 20% of the Bitcoin network, we're going to pay off the national debt. And so why wouldn't that be in the interest of the United States?
Exactly. I mean, this is one way to accumulate massive wealth. We know now that Bitcoin is going to be a global reserve asset. So the real thing is who is going to accumulate and buy it? It's going to be it's going to be governments. The same way they stockpile gold, they're going to be stockpiling Bitcoin. And we can see for this chart over here from Cronus Research, currently the United States has 198,000 Bitcoin. China close second with 190,000. Remember what we talked about in the video the other day, though. A lot of this Bitcoin from the United States is actually going to go back to Bitfinex hack. And so the United States doesn't actually have this many Bitcoin, even though they're claiming they do. They don't. And how is that going to look when Trump says we have to dominate, we have to be the best, we have to beat China? And then the judge says, whoa, 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 you got to pay back all these 125,000 Bitcoin or whatever it is back to Bitfinex, the hack. And now the United States is sitting here just above the United Kingdom, but well below China. You better believe that bill from Senator Cynthia Lummis is looking much more attractive, and maybe even they'll get more aggressive if China starts buying, which we know that they've been eyeing it, right? El Salvador, unfazed. President Bukele buying the dip, adding more Bitcoin to his strategic reserve. This chart over here from Miles Deutscher over here says, showing that new whales, new smart money, new big whales coming in and dominating this market compared to the old whales. Old whales, probably just more holding, accumulating. If you're like me, you don't have much more capital to buy in the market right now. You're just holding what you've had for a long time. But look at this on new whales coming into the market this year. Just absolutely insane. I mean, big money buying big bags. They have to buy it from somewhere. Who's selling it to them? It's the retail. It's the poor people. The people who are supposed to be holding on to Bitcoin are selling it to the whales. Over here, Greeny says whales of 100 or more Bitcoin continue to accumulate Bitcoin at the fastest rate since 2014. What is this telling you guys? What is going on? Does this not make perfect sense to you by now? Pay attention to what smart people and whales are doing. Do not let emotions drive you. Japanese investment firm Metaplanet acquires another 500 Bitcoin. Japanese giant SBI acquired 4,000 more Bitcoin. You guys realize there's only 21 million Bitcoin ever minted, and like 4 to 6 million of them are lost forever. And people are buying up hundreds and thousands of Bitcoin, and you're worried about the short-term price? You do realize that the knock-on effect, the domino effect, is going to be insane. One day, I don't know when, I don't have a crystal ball, supply shock will happen, and we will see Bitcoin explode, sometimes of $10,000, $20,000 days, where it's just a race to accumulate Bitcoin. Mark my words on this. It's going to happen. Fold, another company, acquires another 475 Bitcoin, totaling 1,485. You guys see what's happening. HODL 15 Capital made us a beautiful chart over here. It says HODL top 70 list. 18 companies increased their HODL last week. 18 companies bought 3,177 Bitcoin last week. The HODL 70 companies bought 100%. You guys know, every 10 minutes, there's a block reward on Bitcoin and new Bitcoin are minted. But every 4 years, the amount of Bitcoin that are minted reduces by 50%. Just these 18 companies that bought Bitcoin last week bought every single Bitcoin that was newly mined. And that's just these companies. And there's a new company from Brazil called Meluiz that just joined, and this is going to be a thing where new companies on a regular basis adopt the Bitcoin standard, like Michael Saylor and Strategy, like all these other companies here on the screen who are adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet. It's just getting started, right? These are the early adopters on the institutional side of things. These are like the crazy nuts, like the crazies that started accumulating Bitcoin in 2010 and 11, the early adopters of the individuals. These are the companies now that are doing it now, and we're just starting to see the massive accumulation from institutions, companies, governments, these kind of things. And we have a much more favorable regulatory environment. So the US SEC's acting chair walking back agency proposal on crypto trading platforms. The securities regulator long delayed rule expanding the scope of regulated exchanges shouldn't have tried to include crypto, Mark Ayuda argues. Really relieving a lot of the pressure from the US-based cryptocurrency exchanges like Kraken, like Coinbase and others. And because of this, you see someone like Coinbase, for example, now launching perpetual futures, which they haven't done so far. Like Bybit and others, now you've got someone like Coinbase who feels the freedom to go ahead and expand their scope of product offerings, bringing in more traders, more interest, more bullish news for our industry and the United States to make crypto great again. Hey guys, I hope that you're finding a lot of value from this video so far. If you are, it would mean the world to me if you would do me a favor and hit that like button. Give me some comments, show me some love. It means a lot to me. Markets are hard. It's even, I make these videos because I care about you guys and I want you guys to learn from the mistakes that I've made in the past. And if you're new to the channel, you should definitely subscribe because we have a research team who helps us understand the markets so that we don't make horrible emotional mistakes that could cost you dearly. And instead, we try as a community to work together to optimize our chances at absolutely crushing it in crypto and changing our lives financially. All right, let's get back into it. Now, guys, in this part of the video, I want to tell you about a project that I've invested in and I'm an advisor, and I think it's fantastic. And yes, of course, full disclosure, like I said, I am an investor. I put my money in here and I'm advising this project. Why? Because since 2018, let me tell you a story. In 2018, I thought all the liquidity is fragmented amongst all these exchanges. Why doesn't someone just aggregate all the liquidity from all the sexes and all the dexes and build essentially this terminal trading platform that plugs in to every exchange and just give someone one platform so they never have to open new tabs, log into new accounts, do this, that, have the slippage, like massive slippage on trades, sandwich attacks from MEV bots and all this stuff. This is what Terrace has been building for years. It's not easy to build. I'll tell you, we tried to do it and didn't do it successfully. And so when Jesse from Terrace and I had a chat, I knew exactly what he had been building. And when I started doing research into it, I knew that this is a serious project backed by Y Combinator, HackVC, HashKey, and others. And this one platform that you can log into, you can trade 2 million tokens on 13 different chains, wallet integrations, integrated gas into the whole thing, so you don't have to think about gas and all these different chains and everything like that. Literally, this is the only place that you need to go. Think about like Jupiter and 1inch and every other kind of DEX aggregator. Plus, this is a SEX aggregator, right? So when you talk about getting the best price on any trade, this is what Terrace is guaranteeing. So you like, for example, if I want to trade something on Solana, I don't go to Radium or Meteora. I use Jupiter, right? Why? Because Jupiter aggregates and smart order routes and finds me the best price. If it's an EVM chain, I use 1inch. But imagine the aggregation power when you're trying to trade assets, any assets in the crypto ecosystem, on a full feature set, self-custody trading platform where they don't custody your assets. You can integrate your own wallets. You self-custody it yourself. You have full features, even on DEXs, things like a trading platform, limit orders, order book, and you can buy anything on anything with anything. Like, this is the ultimate aggregation thing. I've been wondering why no one has built it. Tried to build it myself in 2018, and Terrace is now shipping this, and this opens up to the public at the end of the month. As you guys can see, if you compare it to all these other things, portfolio trackers, it's going to have its own like kind of like DEX screener and thing in there. Token screeners, it'll track your portfolio, things like CoinStats or whatever. It does all these things that DEX aggregators don't do, that terminals don't do. Things like order execution management, advanced trading tools, Smart order routing, limit order books, limit orders, time weighted average price, which is like a DCAing into an asset in case you want to do like a larger amount and you create slippage, and order aggregation, portfolio management, position management, token screening, token contract security, MEV protection, which is huge because if you guys are trading on ETH or Solana, these bots come in and they actually make you pay more for your trade than you thought because they bribe the validators. It's kind of complicated, but anyway, this makes sure that you don't get attacked and people don't extract value from your trade. And it's cross-chain and multi-chain. This literally is all in one. When I talked to Jesse from Terrace, who was the founder, and found out what he was building, I couldn't believe that they had actually built something that actually works. I've tried the MVP and the beta of this. It works really well. The point of bringing it, I just want to bring this to you guys' attention today and keep an eye on it. So the TGE, the token actually launches tomorrow, March 12th. And I'm not telling you guys to go out and buy this token right now. This is not the purpose of the video, but I would like to encourage you guys to go do your own research. If you look at other top DEX aggregators, and these are only DEX aggregators, they don't aggregate centralized exchanges, right? So the nice thing about using something like Terrace is you don't even have to go look around. You just know that you're getting the best price for your trade, guaranteed. The lowest fees, the best price for spot trading, for DEXs. They're integrating futures, perpetuals, and way more in the future as well across all chains. Very easy to integrate. You don't have to worry about gas on the chain. So let's look at some comparables. You got something like Jupiter sitting at a $3.4 billion FDV, 1 inch at 300 million, etc. Right? And Terrace raised at a $25 million valuation. So tomorrow, in these horrible market conditions, I wouldn't be surprised if this goes below a $25 million FDV. So it's something that I think you guys should pay attention to. Again, I'm not trying to encourage you guys to go buy this token. What I would do is keep an eye on it. And of course, when tokens start trading, there's wild volatility and all that. See where price discovery happens. I don't think anyone in this market right now is going to be jumping on a new launch. Everyone's terrified. Everyone's selling. Altcoins are hemorrhaging, which could be an amazing opportunity. Remember, you guys got like Y Combinator and Hashkey, HackBC, others back in this project. Just think about what I told you, what this thing does, and all platform fees and revenue go back into the token ecosystem as well on this thing, creating a positive feedback loop and a flywheel mechanism. It's been a while since I've told you guys about a project I've been very bullish on. This one I'm extremely bullish on. And when it launches, because I'm advising the project and because I'm going to be using it myself, I will, of course, be sharing with you guys updates and showing you guys how to use it when it's ready for you guys to be using it. I just want to put it on your attention. Go follow them at Terrace_Fi. Just so you know, when this thing launched their public sale on Fjord Foundry, they sold out $2.5 million in 2 minutes or something. And there was so much demand for it, it literally crashed the site twice. So incredible product, incredible founder. I spent hours and hours and hours on phone with Jesse so far, talking through strategy, really understanding what he was building, because I invested in this not too long ago. I put my own money into this personally. And, in this market right now, I don't have a lot of money. So I have to make my decisions really carefully on where I'm allocating capital. To me, this was a no-brainer, guys. But again, please, I really encourage you guys to do your own research. I just want to bring this to your attention. There's plenty to go check out. The website over here is Terrace.fi. Follow the Max at Terrace_Fi. Check it out. See for yourself. Do your own research. But if nothing else, guys, wait for this to launch and go try it out. It'll be ready by the end of the month, open to the public, and you can go try it for yourself. And if you go try it and you compare it to other aggregators and you see that you're getting the best price, it's the most convenient, has a great UX UI, and you enjoy using the product, and you think everyone else will too, well, then you heard it here first. And likely when it launches, we're still going to be in this market condition where there's still uncertainty and everything else like that. By the end of the month, who knows? You could scoop this thing up at a really good discount. All right, guys, that's wrapping up today. I hope that this video helped you guys in some way. If it did, it would mean a lot to me, guys, if you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and I'll catch you on the next one.